if your child is diagnosed with any type of neurodivergence, what do you do during the first 30 days? And then what do you do during the first school year?
Well, the first 30 days, if you get a diagnosis, then you know what you're I mean, it's not to label or anything like that, but it's to know what you're dealing with so you know, how to address it and the different things that you need to do. If you belong to an association that has counseling for homeschoolers,
Okay,
that
so
is a
right,
vital
so
thing. We do that at
so with
SCAES.
SCAES, South Carolina Association of Independent Homeschools, which is the organization Joe and I founded in 1990 and
Mhm.
was legalized in 1992, we've always had if we didn't have a department for, um learning disabilities or kids with special needs, and then it was called exceptional learners.
Mhm.
Now we have counselors who are really skilled in that, and it does make a difference. And I just want to say, too, here, Beth, and I want you to comment on this that really the area of neurodivergence and kids with special needs is the most growing segment in the homeschooling community.
It is.
Speak to that for us and tell us why. If the schools have all of these programs and all why are parents homeschooling kids who are neurodivergent?
A lot of times there have been reasons over the years that have broken my heart. Um, and if I had time to be a full-time advocate, I'd probably have a job
Mhm.
because a lot of places, the way these kids are treated in school, because school being neurodivergent means you do things differently. You don't do things the way statistically everybody does.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the school settings, most of them, are set up for the typical person, and they don't like to divert from it.
Right.
And, so a lot of times these kids' needs are just not being met, and the parent is so frustrated, the kid is so frustrated, a lot of them have had to be put on anxiety medicine because it's just
Yeah.
been such a bad experience,
Okay. To
and
be in
s
an institutional setting
yes,
with okay. Okay.
and so, I mean, that's what I'm finding is that a lot of, the people that we work with are coming from public education. It's not that this is their first, attempt at homeschool, but they're coming from, mostly public schools, and they just don't feel like their needs are being met, and they think, "Well, heck, I could do better,"
Right, right.
and
So
they can.
so, Beth, I wanna talk about what you've done at SCAES a little bit, and I know there are other organizations around the country that have special consultants and counselors, for all types of kids. So we have at SCAES, we have an elementary department, middle school, and high school, which are
Mhm.
together because, homeschooling at that level is different than homeschooling in the elementary years,
Yes.
just different age groups and requirements and all of that. But then also at SCASE, you have probably counseled thousands of parents as they've started homeschooling and continued homeschooling. So when a parent finds out for the first time they have a child who has a diagnosis, and I don't mean to make that sound like a defect, but it is
Right.
something that you need to be aware of
Right.
so you can teach that child
Right.
a
The
core
way that they learn.
yes, the way that they learn. So, what would you tell a parent? I call in and I tell you, I think my child just didn't learn in school. I'm withdrawing him. I'm homeschooling him. What do you tell that parent?
Well, usually I ask, "What was going on? Tell me what's going on." And then I'll say, "Well, you know, uh, in reading, let's look at reading. What type of things are we seeing in reading or in spelling?" And because one of the best ways, especially if people aren't sure, is nonsense words because it's critical that dyslexic kids develop a sound symbol association because if they don't have that, they're not gonna be able to read. I mean, they might be great at memorizing, but you
But
can't
yes,
memorize everything.
that's right. And you're talking about phonics when you
Phonics,
say that. Yes.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
and actually, personally, I think that's best not just for neurodivergent kids, but I think for everybody. If everybody was
Absolutely.
taught that way, then I don't think there'd be an issue.